Hello there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have the Simon Says Stamp Limited Edition Mother's Day 2019 card kit. And even though this kit is in fact sold out, I will go ahead and have the items listed below that I can find. And that way you can still get your hands on some of those goodies. So let's go ahead and take a look at what comes inside this kit. I have to say I was really excited about this kit when I first saw it because yes, Mother's Day is just around the corner, but I felt like this kit could be something that was used all year round. So yeah, it's for any kind of mom and you could make all kinds of great, just encouraging cards for mom that don't just have to be for Mother's Day. So the kits always come with candy. And so I set those aside because, you need candy while you're crafting. It also comes with this jar of tonic pink opal Nuvo Glimmer paste, and it is beautiful. So I'm excited to get into that. It comes with this spool of lace ribbon. This is by Heidi Swap, and it's really pretty as well. And I love too when I've used up the ribbon, which I don't actually use it in this kit, but when I use the ribbon, I love to use the spool as well for other crafts. It also comes with the Simon Says Stamp Soft Navy ink pad, and thankfully mine was covered with the plastic because the ink did leak out, which says that this ink pad is super juicy, so I was excited about that. It's a beautiful color, and I use that a few times throughout the card making process of this kit. It also comes with a palette knife. This is by Ranger, so you can use that with your glimmer paste. It comes with a spool of American Crafts polka dot ribbon. And this is, as far as I can tell, it's a black ribbon with white dots. But, you could probably use it for navy as well because it's far enough away that it kind of fools the eye. It also has this super cute exclusive Coffee Loved Wafer die by Simon Says Stamp. And I loved his little hands. He's so cute with his little face holding that little heart. It comes with the Simon Says Stamp exclusive Mother Sentiments that's on a pre-printed sheet. Has a lot of great sentiments on here, and you can just chop those up and use those however you want, and these could be for all kinds of moms, and there's even a few in there that would just be, you could make any kind of card out of. It comes with some Simon Says Stamp envelopes in the colors slate, mint, and white, and those are beautiful. Love those. It also comes with 4 cotton baggies and a polka dot stencil, and these are by Crate Paper, and they're nice and thick. I really like how nice these bags are, and the stencil is actually pretty sturdy, so it's nice as well. Mine came with a little crack in it, but that's no big deal. But yeah, 4 little baggies. I thought that was fun. It also comes with the Simon Says Stamp Classy Custom Sequins. It's a beautiful mix of sequins. I love when they have sequins in there. It also has the Simon Says Stamp exclusive Bouquet of Roses stencil. Isn't that beautiful? I think that was part of their most recent release. It also has the Echo Park I Am Mom 6x6 papers, and this is 1 sheet of each. And there's a lot of great, beautiful papers in here. So they wouldn't have to just be used for moms. You could use these for all kinds of cards. But yeah, there's the coffee in there. There's a couple of pages that have some really cute sentiments on there. I make some extra cards with that. And it also has just some other just really pretty papers. And I love this color combo. I never would have thought to put those colors together, but I really, really like this color combo. So I had a lot of fun making all the cards that I did using this kit. This stamp set is the Simon Says Stamp For All Moms 6x8 stamp set. And I love that it's got a couple different coffee images, some flowers, a dog, a cat, butterfly, little paws, hearts. It's really sweet. A lot of great sentiments. It also comes with the Simon Says Stamp 8.5x11 masking paper. So this is really nice. And it has cardstocks by Simon Says Stamp in the colors soft navy, cotton candy, cornflower blue, lemon chiffon, and the 120-pound white. Let's go ahead and get started with our first couple of projects. I am making 2 cards just because I really just wanted to use the dog and the cat in the same sort of light. So I started off by using my circle nestabilities, and I ran that through my Big Shot machine over some of that paper, and then I cut out a couple other pieces. And now I have a piece of Express It cardstock, and I've put that into my Mini Misty. Express It cardstock is really good for Copic coloring. And so I am going to ink up my images with some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Once again, that is a Copic friendly ink which is great because I obviously plan to do some Copic coloring. And I'm not going to show you all the Copic coloring because obviously this video would be really, really long if I did that. But I always tend to color my dogs and my cats just like my dog and my cat. So I do have the colors listed for you, or I will tell you. I used the Copic's E84, E87, E89, R35, and R29 for my cat, and then W1, W4, W6, W8, and R11 for my dog. And so now I'm just, I've colored those and I trimmed those out using a little white border. And I'm going to start assembling my cards. But I decided I did want to have a little bit of background, so I'm using the soft navy ink along with the little paw print that came in the stamp set, and I'm stamping that all over the back of the cornflower blue cardstock, and I'm also doing that on the lemon chiffon. I took the pre-printed Mother's Day sentiments and I trimmed out a couple of those, and now I'm going to just start assembling. So I'm using a couple strips of the pattern paper that came in the kit, and I'm not putting those down in any real rhyme or reason, real fashion. I'm just sticking those down kind of crossway, and then I'm going to stick the circle that I had cut out right over the top of that. And I'll do that for both the dog and the cat card. And then I've covered the back of those images with some foam tape, and then I'm going to just stick those down. That gives it a little bit of dimension without adding too much. Because I thought about it. I thought about popping everything up, but then I thought, that's a lot of dimension. And then I'll use my liquid glue to just put down my sentiments, and I'm trying to line those up onto my glass mat to make sure everything is straight as possible. But you know me, if I had done it right, I probably would have used my T-ruler because I'm not real great at the straightness. For an embellishment, I'm grabbing those sequins and I'm using my crystal katana along with some glossy accents. I'm using just the glossy accents this time. I don't know why I thought I'd give it a try. I know other people do it, so I thought I would give it a try. And I am sticking the sequins down using that. And then for a final bit of embellishment, I'm going to use some Nuvo Dream Drops in the color Fairy Wings, just to put some tiny dots. That's what I like about these. You can just add any size dot you want, and so I just wanted some really tiny ones just for very subtle effect. And then I do end up putting some glossy accents over the dog and the cat's nose. So after that, that's going to finish off these first two cards. So those were fun, and I love that they look like my animals. Project number 3 is going to use some of that masking paper. So I'm going to use the flower that came in the stamp, and I'm just conditioning that on my hand. I'm going to stamp that out onto some of that masking paper, just using some black ink. And then when I cut that out, I'm going to cut it right on the line, because otherwise if you cut it outside the line, you're going to have a bit of a halo. So I'm sticking some Express It cardstock into my Mini Misty. I'm going to ink up my stamp, which I clearly didn't clean off very well, and I'm going to ink that up, because I'm going to try and make a little bit of a border is what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to peel off the backing paper of my masking paper, and then I will just stick that right down over the top of the flower. This is a perfect image to use the masking paper on. It's not too intricate. Then I'll realign my paper, and I will ink that up and stamp that down. And it's interesting because when you have the mask on there, it just looks like a hot mess until you take it off. I'm using a microfiber cloth to clean off my Mini Misty paper in there. And what I did with that Mini Misty paper is I actually used my laminator so that I don't waste too many of those papers. And then I stamp it down one more time. And then I'm going to carefully take off the masking paper, which it sticks pretty good, but I don't ever have a problem with this stuff like tearing. So this mask will still be good to go for a little while, so I'm going to stick that onto my stamp set and just save that for another time. And then I'm going to color that with Copic colors, and those colors are R11, R32, Y02, and Y35. And then I cut that out right on the line, and then I just used a Memento Tuxedo Black marker to make sure that that line stayed black. Now I'm just lining everything up. And I'm going to put that back into my Mini Misty because I want to make sure that I stamp this down well. And I'm going to do some heat embossing onto that dark blue cardstock, which is the soft navy. So once I have things lined up, which is just Mom and I Love You, which came from the stamp set, I'm going to use my embossing bag right over that because this is dark cardstock and I'm using white embossing powder, and that embossing powder will stick to everything. So the embossing bag keeps that powder from going to places I don't want it to. I'll ink up my stamps with Versamark ink, which is just a clear sticky ink. And this is one of the great reasons why I end up using the Mini Misty. I didn't stamp it down very well, so this way I can re-stamp without ruining the paper. I'll cover that with my Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail White Embossing Powder, and then I will heat that till that is smooth and melted. But I did have a little bit of stray embossing powder, so I'm just wiping that off with a dry brush. And so then once that's all good to go, I will start heating that with my heat tool. And then you notice that there's a little bit of a white, white dusting from the embossing bag. And once everything is dry, you just wipe that off. I did cover the back of my flowers with some Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. And this is nice because it's not quite as thick as some of the other foam tapes that are out there, but it is a bit of a pain to get the backing paper off. So I just use my paper piercer to get the backing paper off, and then we're good to go. For a final bit of embellishment, I will, I guess it's not the final bit. I'm actually going to use my Sakura, I think that's what it is. My Sakura Jelly Roll 05 white pen, and just make a few dots on there. And then I'm also going to grab some of those sequins once again, and I'm just putting this into a little dish that I had got from the Target Dollar Spot. And then I will pick up those sequins and put those where I would like with my crystal katana. I love this tool. It's a great tool for sequins and gems and other things like that. It's a little bit more on the pricier side. I know there are other tools out there. I have bought a few of the cheaper tools and wasn't happy with the one I got, so that I ended up spending a little bit more money for this crystal katana, which is great. And if it ever is not sticky, I just kind of rub my finger or use a baby wipe to clean off the end, and we are good to go. It's usually because I have some stray glue or something on there. But yeah, I'm just tucking a few of those sequins in there. Just trying to find other places, thinking about if I want to put any of the gems on top of the flowers, and I decide I don't like that. And so once I'm done with that, that will finish off project number 3. I think those colors are just beautiful, that soft navy and those pinks. Project number 4 is going to be using those fun bags that came in the kit. And I know this is nothing new. I think several people have probably done this, but I'm just using the soft navy ink that came in the kit along with my Vivas beauty brushes. And I've talked about these before, but these were, you get the same amount as other places for $9, and I'll have those listed down below, but these are great. And so I'm using a Post-it to try and mask off the leaves, but I obviously don't do a very good job. When I pick this up, you'll see, but that's okay. I end up doing all 4 of the bags the same way. Originally, I thought I would possibly do them different colors, which you could very easily do, but I just ended up loving the color of these blue roses. I thought they were so pretty. So I did all 4 the same color, and I'm just picking up my Post-it, and I'm moving those around, trying to mask off where those leaves are. And it's funny because you think you're being kind of careful, and then you're not. But that's why it's kind of, if you want this to be a pristine project, make sure you are using some sort of masking, which you could use the masking tape and paper that came in the kit, but I wanted to save that for other projects. So I'm just using the Post-it tape. And as you can see, I do have a few spots there, but it's okay. So now I'm moving on, and I thought I'd be lazy. I'm moving on to using the Twisted Citron, which is a Distress Oxide ink. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to end up getting those colors mixed too much. So I do use my spritzer bottle and a microfiber cloth to clean off my stencil, which is super easy, just really easy to do. So I don't know why I was being so lazy. Probably, I don't know, just because I'm naturally lazy, I guess. I don't know. So I wasn't using the Post-its, and it ends up being okay. I don't get too much crossover, which is fine. I think you can do that and have it kind of add to the look of the stencil if you really wanted to, and it's not that big of a deal. So I finish up just using my Vivas brushes and this Twisted Citron, And I really like the way that looks. I thought that was kind of fun. So like I said, I did all 4 that way. And I did want a sentiment on there. So I grabbed the I Love You sentiment from the stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. So that's a pigment ink, and that'll stamp on there just fine. I also decided I wanted a little bit extra color, so I do grab a Copic marker, which is the RV14, and you don't want to hold it on that too long because it will soak through onto the other side. You could very easily, if you weren't lazy like me, you could very easily just shove in like a piece of cardboard or something like that, and you could do even more with it if you really wanted to, but I was a little bit lazy. I know, you're surprised. So, yeah, I just finished off all 4 doing it that way, and I love the way these turned out. These are so fun. These make just cute little gift bags. So there they are. I love project number 5. I'm going to be using that Glimmer paste, and that maybe is why I love it so much. So I've started off with some of that cotton candy cardstock that I had trimmed down to 4¼ by 11 inches, and I'm scoring at 5½. Because I'm going to tape this down to my glass mat, just using a little bit of micro pour tape. This stuff is great because it won't tear your paper, and it holds stuff down. So I'll also tape the polka dot stencil that came with the bags. I'll tape that down as well, and then I'm going to get my Glimmer paste ready to go. This stuff is so pretty, and a little bit really does go a long way. So I'm using the palette knife that came in the kit as well, and I'm just spreading this basically like butter on toast. And this stuff is so pretty. I guess I was thinking it might be a little bit darker. I don't know why. Maybe the bottle kind of had me confused or whatever. But this stuff is so pretty. I love how this just spreads so nicely, and it's a beautiful pink, and it goes so well with that cotton candy. And this just made a really nice background, so I will be using this stuff more and more, that's for sure. I will say I took this directly to my sink and washed it off as soon as I got it out there, but it still left some residue, which is fine. I don't care. My stencils are all messed up with paint and all kinds of stuff, so it doesn't bother me. So I set it off to the side to dry, and now I'm going to stamp my little Frappuccino onto some Express It cardstock, and I colored that with Copic colors. I used the colors E31 and E55, and then I also used the YG09 for the straw and the RV14 for the heart. And I do go over the top of that with my Nuvo glitter gloss pen, just to add a little bit of shimmer and shine, as if there wasn't enough on the background, right? And the funny thing about this is my husband was so sweet. He didn't even know I was making a card like this, but he had run off to get a haircut, and he came back with the Frappuccino for me. He's the best. So I've trimmed that out. I just fussy cut around it, and I also cut out a circle using my circle nestabilities from some of that soft navy cardstock. And then I'm also going to use that smaller portion at the bottom to stamp out my sentiment. I am really loving stamping or white heat embossing onto dark cardstocks. It's just so pretty. It doesn't always have to be black, so I just think that it's just beautiful. So I've stamped that out with the Versamark ink, and then I covered that with my white embossing powder, and then I just heat that till that is smooth and melted and trimmed it down. Now I'm going to use some of the ribbon that came in the kit, and I'm going to try and make a bow. So it just takes a lot of practice, and you just want to fiddle with it as much as possible, because I really wanted those dots to be showing the whole time. So I am messing with this, and I just keep fiddling till I get exactly what I want. And even then, the ribbon still had a little bit of a mind of its own, and it tried to flip, as you can tell. So I just keep working it, manipulating it until I get the look that I want, and then I have a little bow ready to go. But it does take practice. And then I'm going to trim out another piece because I want that to have like a little band around the outside. But to adhere that, I'm going to use some score tape. This is 1/4 inch score tape. So I'll peel off that backing paper or the release paper to reveal it. And then I'll set that up on my grid mat to try and align that as best as possible. And then I will just fold that over. And I'm not worried about the flap there because that will be covered by my little circle there that I had die cut out. I covered the back of that with some more of that Big Mama foam tape, and I'm just peeling off the backing paper using my paper piercer. I'll adhere down the circle, and then I also put it all over the rest of everything else. So I figured might as well. So I will peel off the backing paper on the sentiment and use my grid mat, glass mat, to try and get that all secured and lined up properly. And then I'll put my Frappuccino down. To adhere my bow, I'm using some Ranger Multimedia Matte, and then to get that to sit there, I stacked a couple of stamp blocks on there just for a little while. And that's that. And there's my Frappuccino. My husband is the best. So I love this color combo, and that will finish off card number 5. For project number 6, I'm going to use that Cutie Patootie Simon Says Stamp exclusive Coffee Love wafer die. I actually ended up cutting it out like 9 times, but I only used 6 of them. So I've pulled out my Sizzix Sidekick. I know you were wondering when that was going to make its appearance. And I am running this through my Sizzix Sidekick over the 120-pound white cardstock that came in the kit. And this stuff is great for this little die because it keeps everything, it cuts everything, but it still keeps everything in place. It's a heavy enough weight that everything's going to stay put, so I don't end up losing any of those little pieces. So I'm going to take a piece of Post-it tape, and I am going to adhere all those little pieces to that Post-it tape. The smarter way would have been to just hold, and I end up figuring this out eventually, but hold the little coffee cup over the Post-it tape and then just poke those pieces through so that they just stick right to the Post-it tape. So I kind of take that time out of trying to pick it up with my fingers or the crystal katana and stick them down onto the Post-it tape. So that ends up saving some time eventually when I figure that out. So now that these are adhered to the Post-it tape, I'm going to start Copic coloring them. You could cut them all out of different colors of cardstock, but I figured this was just easier, wasted less paper, and I didn't mind coloring them. So I'm using the color R29 for the heart, W8 for the little face pieces, and then for the top of the coffee cup, I am going to use W6 and W8 for the shading, just to give it more of a black look, like a coffee cup one would be. And then for the little belly band that is around the coffee cup, I'm going to use E84. So that gives you that craft colored belly band that usually comes around those coffee cups. But you could, of course, make it whatever color you want. And then to adhere those pieces inside there, I decided to use a bit of washi tape on the back. I don't know who coined this. I'm sure I saw it somewhere. But I'm just going to cover the back of that with washi tape. And that way it makes everything just really easy to stick to it. And you don't have to worry about cutting extra pieces out. So I'll use my crystal katana to get everything in place. And then just push it down into that washi tape. And then that's easy peasy. So I do that 6 times so that I get 6 of those tiny little coffee cups. And I'm in love with this coffee cup. Oh my gosh. I know that it's not new. I think Simon Says Stamp has had this thing around for a little while, but he's so stinking cute. So yeah, there he is in all of his cuteness. So 6 more of those. And I have a piece of that cornflower blue cardstock, and I've put that into my mini Misty because I'm going to stamp the sentiment on there. And once again, I'm going to heat emboss this using some white embossing powder. So I'll stamp that out. I'll use my embossing bag over the front of that first, stamp that down using some Versamark ink, and then I will cover that with that ultra fine embossing powder from Simon Says Stamp. And this stuff is great for sentiments. So I'll just cover that and then heat set that till that is smooth and melted. And then I will start thinking about how I'm going to adhere my little coffee cups. So I do end up covering the back of them with foam tape, that Big Mama foam tape that I had, and then I end up using all that foam tape that I had. But each one of those little coffee cups has foam tape on the back of it. So I'll peel off the backing paper, and I'm going to start with the middle. So I'm going to use my glass mat to try and line things up, and then just set that kind of in the middle there. And then I'll do that with the next one. I will try and adhere that one down to the middle on the bottom. And then I get wise, and I do pull out my T ruler, so that way I can start lining up those coffee cup bottoms. So I make sure that those are straight, or at least as straight as possible, straight as I can make them. And I'll just keep doing that. You could really go to town with these little coffee cups. You could cover the tops with some glossy accents. You could use some Nuvo glitter gloss pen on them to add some shimmer and shine. But I didn't do that. I just thought this was fun just to do it this way. And once I get that 6th one down, that's going to finish off project number 6. I love this. He's so cute. You'll see him again for sure. Do end up making 3 little bonus cards using some of the leftover cardstock along with scraps of the pattern paper that came in the kit, along with 3 of the little sentiments that came in the pattern paper as well. And those were easy to make, and then I just finished those off with some sequins that were in the kit as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all the projects that I made using this kit. I would love to know which of these was your favorite, if you had a favorite, and list that down in the comment section down below if you'd like to. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would love to see you around. I usually am pretty active on my channel, at least 1 video a week, sometimes 2 and 3. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And as always, guys, I do appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.